The queen went to her magic mirror and asked, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror hesitated, then reluctantly replied, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." Rage boiled within the queen. She summoned her huntsman and ordered him to take Snow White into the forest and kill her. But when the huntsman was following Snow White with a knife prepared to obey his orders, he couldn't bring himself to do it. Instead, he told Snow White to run. Snow White turned and ran into the woods as fast as she could. After what felt like hours, she stumbled upon a quaint little house. Exhausted and desperate, she went inside. The interior was cluttered and dirty, but Snow White's kind heart compelled her to clean the house. She tidied up the mess and soon fell asleep on one of the 7 little beds. Meanwhile, the 7 dwarfs were headed home from a long day of working in the jewel mines. They were shocked to find their house spotless, and even more astonished to find a beautiful princess sleeping in their beds. They decided to let her stay. The next day, Snow White cooked for them. Back at the castle, the queen was not satisfied. She marched up to her magic mirror. "Mirror, mirror on the wall," she demanded, "who is the fairest of them all?" "Snow White is the fairest of them all," said the magic mirror without hesitation. Disguised as an old woman selling apples, she found her way to the dwarf's cottage. "Apples, fresh apples," came a squeaky voice. Snow White, ever so kind and trusting, took an apple from the old woman. Just as she was about to eat it, the 7 dwarfs came home and sensed something was wrong. They chased the evil queen out the door and into a brewing storm, where she vanished forever. The dwarfs returned to find Snow White in a deep sleep from which they couldn't wake her. Days turned into weeks until a handsome prince arrived, having heard tales of her beauty. He gently took one of Snow White's hands in his own and kissed it. Suddenly, Snow White's eyes fluttered open. Their eyes met, and she knew she was safe. The dwarfs cheered, the forest sighed in relief, and Snow White and the prince lived happily ever after, the fairest of them all.